Welcome to the Homesteading for Beginners podcast. This is Mona Weathers, your host. If you are new here, welcome. If you are a regular listener, thank you. I really appreciate your listening to this show. If you are a homesteader, a new homesteader, and you just need some, encouragement and guidance, this is the right place to be. If you are a dreamer and you're just like in the dreaming stages and you haven't actually taken any official steps toward homesteading, you are in the right place. And if you are a longtime homesteader and you're just a beginner in certain topics, this is the right place for you as well, because I do a lot of interviews with other people about topics on homesteading, as well as topics that I'm familiar with that you may not be. So this really is called the Homesteading for Beginners podcast, but it is also beginner topics as well. So if you're new to a space, I have many episodes that you can listen to on different topics. And if you have a request, please send it in to mona@healthyhomesteading.com, and I will try to do my best to get either that interview or that topic covered. Okay, so today's topic is about New Year's and how I totally get excited about it, okay? But it's not just for me. Even if you don't get excited about the new year, this should benefit you as well. But I get totally excited about New Year's. I enjoy the freshness of the year. I enjoy going into a year where I have to start writing a new number. I just really love it. And years ago, I discovered that taking on the new year is really a good idea to do it like in, months ago. You think about the following year, like in October would be a good time to like start your planning. But if you're not, it's okay. There's no rush. I think that's also kind of the negative side of the new year, is that by January 15th, if you haven't like had your whole year figured out, then you've just failed. You haven't failed. And it's really better to work in quarters anyway, and I'll explain that in a minute. But we can enter this new year excited about the possibilities, and hopefully that will, help you to have a good year. So I feel amazing during the beginning of the year, especially after a break, which if you've heard the last couple episodes, I talk about how I needed a break in December and I took a break and it was fantastic. But you come to this place where you're like, okay, what am I going to do? What didn't work last year? And what do I want to do that would, what do I want to focus on this next year? What did work last year? And do I want to bring that into the next year? There's all kinds of questions you can ask when you're goal setting. But what we're going to deal with today is being, realistic about our goals and really knowing how much time we actually have to accomplish those goals, and try to maintain the enthusiasm throughout the year, because you are actually achieving some of your goals. Because I think the worst thing that happens to us is if we plan this goal and it's like so big and so outrageous and then we don't reach it. And then we're like, well, that didn't work. Forget it. This goal setting thing is crazy. I'm not going to do this anymore. But what if you set a tangible goals, and you built on those goals, and you built on, you broke it down into manageable tasks, and then you accomplish those smaller goals? How would that make you feel? If you accomplished a smaller goal, would that make you feel like, oh, maybe I can accomplish a bigger goal? It does. It's like checking off the check marks, the task marks, in a to-do list, in a daily to-do list. It makes you feel good to check those things off, no matter how small they are. So I have a planning and goal setting process that I've been working on for a couple of years, and I'm kind of, sometimes I adjust it a little bit to fit different things, but I'm just going to give you like the 6 steps that will help you to goal set this year. Okay. And it's not too late. So I would highly recommend, when you get a chance, if you're in a place where you can do this, to write down these things as I'm going through them. Okay. So that you can, you can take action and not just have it swirling around in your head as a nice thought. Okay. So planning and goal setting process. So I want you first to write down all of your goals. And a lot of people call this brain dumping, and you can call it that if you want. It's good. It's a good word. Brain dump. Put it on a sheet of paper. Write down all of the goals that you have, even the ones that you think that are like 10 years from now. Okay. Write everything that you have as goals for your homestead, for your business, for your even relationships, for your children, whatever. Write it all down, and make sure that it's all there. Okay. So, and then I want you to, so that's step one, write down all of your goals onto a sheet of paper. Do this on paper too, because there's something about pen in hand and on a piece of paper that makes things a little bit more realistic, not realistic, but tangible. So do that. Make sure it's on a piece of paper. And I want you to organize those goals based on importance. Now, some of those goals are probably going to be too big, like a 10-year from now goal. But if they are needed, sooner than 10 years, you might want to put it on this list. So number 2 would be to organize these goals based on importance. So what you do first is you separate this list, all your all the ones that you wrote down on that sheet of paper. You use another sheet of paper and you write must have on one side and want to have on the other side. And you split the piece, write a line through that piece of sheet of paper. And on one side, half of the sheet of paper is must have. And on the other half of the sheet of paper is want to have. Okay, so this is how you're prioritizing these goals based on importance. So on one side, put all the things that you must have, like they're not just wants, they are needs. Okay. And then on the other side, they are wants. And they're not as important. Okay. So step 3. So 1 is write it all down. 2 is to organize goals based on importance. And then 3 is to prioritize the must-have goals. So what you're going to do is now you're going to take another sheet of paper and you're going to have your must-have list. Okay. And then you're going to put that into an importance list, like what is the most important to start with first. And you can do this like you can number them, you can underline the ones with a color thing, or you can put it in the right order of what you need to happen this next year or soon, sooner than later, right? So if we want to do this for the year, then we probably would want to put this on this year's list. So maybe organize it into where it's only things that you can do. These are things that you could technically do this year. Okay. So then I want you to take another sheet of paper. I have all these sheets of paper. Maybe one day this will be a book that I give you, a workbook that you can work through. But for right now, you're going to take another sheet of paper and you're going to divide your year into 4 quarters. And so you're going to divide this sheet of paper into 4. So you can fold it into 4s and then open it up, or you can just write a line diagonally and horizontally in the center. And then you're going to put on the first box on the upper left corner, you're going to put January, February, March, and you're going to put quarter 1. And then on the next box, the right top box, you're going to put April, May, June, quarter 2. And then you're going to do the same things for July, August, September, quarter 3, and then October, November, December, quarter 4 in the next 2 boxes below, right? So so it should look like this. The quarter 1 should be top left corner, quarter 2 should be top right corner, quarter 3 should be bottom left corner, quarter 4 should be bottom right corner. Okay. So now you're going to take your must-have goals. You're going to take the prioritized goals, the second edition or the organized version of your must-have goals, and you're going to pick 1 to 2 things that can go into each one of those quarters. So think about your year and think about if the goal is even possible to achieve at that time of year. So if your goal is to, plant uh, garlic in August, have you're not going to do that because you don't plant garlic in August. And at least in the United States, we don't plant garlic in August. That's too late. You'll need to be harvesting garlic at that time. So you want to make sure that those goals, and I want you to select 1 to 2 goals from that list and put it into each quarter. Okay, but it also has to make sure that it is achievable that during that time of year. Okay, and then from there, so that was step 5. I'll go through these all again so that you get them. Step 5 was to put the 1 to 2 goals in the must-have list for each quarter. Step 6 is to create a task list for each goal within the quarters. So if you have one thing that, for one first quarter, then include all the things that are necessary to reach that goal in order. So if you are, let's say you want to learn how to make sourdough bread. The first actionable step might be to find a YouTube video on explaining the process of making sourdough bread, right? So, that's an actionable step that you can take, and it's an easy step that you can take, right? And then just make all of the things that you need. So the next step might be you'll learn through the video that you need a sourdough starter. Are you going to purchase that online, or are you going to get it from someone local? So that would be your next task. And just continue to make this task list until, from your knowledge that you have now, it's enough information. Like you might not know all the things that you need to do to achieve this goal, but at least get it started, right? And as you learning more about this goal that you're trying to achieve, or this isn't it. The example I gave is like learning how to do something, but it could be that you know exactly what you need to do because it is it just like save $500 or something like that. If your goal is to save $500, you know exactly what you need to do. You need to have a place to keep the money, and you need to be putting money in there, right? So you just keep doing that until you have $500, or you need to be able to have a plan on how to make that money. So it really depends on what your goal is, what your action steps will be, and how that will look. But you'll make action steps that you can do daily, weekly, and monthly. Okay. So you don't have to have all of those, but you definitely want to have one. Again, it depends on what it is you're trying to accomplish. So you might, if your daily goal is to, if you go out to, let's say you go out to Starbucks every day for work, and you're trying to raise, save $500. And you're like, okay, my daily goal then is to not go to Starbucks every day and to put $5 into my piggy bank or whatever it is, right? So that is an actionable step that you do daily. And a weekly one might be, there's all sorts of things I could share. Okay, so if you want to save $500 and you don't go to Starbucks every day, and you instead say, okay, I'm going to work at this extra job 1 day a week so that I get $100 for whatever, $50, whatever it is for that day, so that I can put into my bank, my savings, right? So these are different ways you can do it. And just make sure that they are broken down and they're actionable. You need to be able to do something based on this actionable, this task. Okay, you need to be able to do it, not just think about it. You have to do it. So that is it. So that was number 6. Let's go through it again. So, okay, so here are the 6 steps to take. So you write down all your goals. Number 1 is write down all your goals, your dreams, your goals, everything. It's good. It's a good practice to write down the things that you want to do in the future, even if it's not something that you will be doing in 2024. Just write it down. I'm a big believer in dreaming and recording those dreams somewhere so that and other people know that they're your dreams. Okay, so write all of it down. Number 2 is organize those goals based on importance, so that you'll have your must-have list and your want-to-have list. Number 3 is prioritize your must-have goals. So make sure that you prioritize them and that you're able to do them within the year, or at least get close to it. You can have goals where they are like get closer to goals. So let's say you want to have some big thing like having a homestead, like getting a property. That might not be something that you can do in the next year, but what can you do? What can you do in 2024? Can you have a savings? So you might want to make your must-have goals to get a certain amount of savings as a down payment or whatever it is. Okay, so number 4, and then number 4 is divide the year into 4 quarters: January through March, quarter 1; April through June, quarter 2; July through September, quarter 3; October through December, quarter 4. And select. So number 5 would be select 1 to 2 goals from your must-have list for each of these quarters, and make sure again that you are able to accomplish them or get closer to accomplishing them within each quarter. So if you have a big goal that you want to have by the end of the year, it may be that you're just dividing the year into things that you can accomplish within each of these quarters. So if you have a goal to have $5,000 by the end of the year saved, you might want to divide the year so that you can split it into equals and have that money, focus on that much money that you need for quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, or divide it however you need, where you think that you can earn that money. So, and then number 6 is create a task list for each goal within these quarters, and make sure these are actionable steps, tasks that you can take daily, weekly, and or monthly. So it doesn't have to be all of those. Just figure it out how you're going to divide that up, and make sure those tasks are on that list, and then just start working towards it. Pick up your energy, get your energy going, get excited, and get your goal, accomplish your goals through this process. And it works if you work it, right? You can do this and then just forget about it. What I like to do when I'm really concentrating on something, I like to make sure that it is visible for me somewhere. So you might want to put this sheet or this packet of pages onto, your refrigerator or something like that, something where you can look at it often. If you have a word of the year, remember how we talked about word of the year in the last episode 84? Put that there too, so that you're concentrating on it. Those are my goal setting tips for you. I hope this was helpful. If this was helpful, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. I would love to hear from you. We are working more towards goal setting. And if you have not joined the Homestead Income Plan group, I will be talking more about an opportunity for you to get plugged in to an accountability meeting that will help you to accomplish your goals. So make sure you go into the group, or if you want to learn, if you're not on Facebook, I'll have all the links in the show notes as well. But if you're not on Facebook and you want to be a part of this group, this accountability meeting that will be starting soon, please just send me an email, mona@healthyhomesteading.com, and I will get you that information. You don't have to be on Facebook to be part of the accountability meeting, but the accountability meeting is to help you reach your goals and to have other people to talk to you and support you and to cheer you on and to keep you going. Because that is, I think, the biggest problem is that we start off the year, yay, and then January 15th comes, or January, the end of January comes, and you're like, oh yeah, that was something I had. That was a resolution I had, but I didn't really implement anything. You want to be able to break it down so that it's manageable and you can do the things and you can actually accomplish your goals, but you have to have focus, and it really doesn't hurt to have support. You don't have to have support to do these things, but it really helps. It really helps to keep you moving forward. So if you want to learn about that, just send me an email and I will send you that information. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or your evening or wherever you're listening to this, and I will be back here next week.